5.
Teams from Benedictine, Hawken, and Revere compete on the Nordson Academic Challenge. All right, here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Ralph Powers. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Today, we continue with the 54th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge, and the challenge of our show is the same as it's always been. 3 local high school teams compete for points by answering questions in math, science, history, a few other topics as well. So let's hear it one more time. Today's teams, Benedictine, Hawken, and Revere. After each show, we update the leaderboard. At the end of the season, the top 3 teams will be back to play for the championship and a $6,000 grant from Nordson. So let's get everything started here. And we start this morning like we do every Saturday with the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We subtract 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. The match will start, each team with 100 points. Everybody set? Okay, concentrate on the letter M. M here. All these answers end in the letter M. This patriotic uncle is the symbol of the United States. Hawken.
Uncle Sam.
That is correct. In ancient Rome, this was the center of political life. Revere.
Forum.
That is correct. This 11th century English king was known as the Conqueror. Revere.
William.
That is correct. This lord. Revere. Gotta go. The answer here is Lord Jim. A home run that clears the bases is given this 2-word, Revere.
Grand Slam.
That's correct. This alcoholic drink was part of the triangle trade, Benedictine.
Rum.
That is correct. This is a formal step-by-step procedure for solving a mathematical problem, Revere.
Algorithm.
That is correct. This character wears a donkey's head in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Answer is bottom. Bottom. In a Dr. Seuss title, this food accompanies green eggs. Revere.
Ham.
That is correct. And for our final lightning round question, we hear from the chief pilot of airship operations for the Goodyear blimp. Here's Michael Doherty.
The envelope, which is the name for the largest section of the Goodyear blimp, is filled with what gas? The second lightest.
Revere.
Helium.
Helium is correct, and that's the end of that round. Good job. Good job. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Nordson is honored to sponsor a program that celebrates academic excellence. We're a global industrial technology company with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. We donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profit to charity every year. Over the past 30 years, the Nordson Corporation Foundation has donated more than $100 million, and our employees have volunteered more than 100,000 hours. And now, we're pleased to support the legacy of Academic Challenge. Thank you all for watching, and the best of luck to all the participants.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, just scan the QR code that you see on the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now with your phone. That code will take you to news5cleveland.com's Academic Challenge page, where we have links for all of this season's schools' websites. All right, now it's time to play the Hot Picks round. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. But before we hear the questions, we're going to meet the members from our teams. Let's start with Benedictine. Charlie, you're the captain. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a sophomore at Benedictine High School, and I'm a member of the marching band as well as bowling team and other activities. I'd like to thank our alternates and our administrators, Mr. Fennell and Mr. Strawn, all that.
Awesome. Good for you. Anthony, hello. Welcome. What do we need to know about Anthony?
Well, as you said, I'm Anthony. I'm a senior. Outside of Academic Challenge, I'm part of Benedictine's bowling, soccer, and lacrosse teams. And after high school, I plan to go to college to study both education and biology.
Fantastic. Hello, James.
I'm a sophomore. I play hockey and lacrosse, and I'm also part of the school's BattleBots team, and I enjoy playing chess.
Awesome. Well, we welcome the entire team from Benedictine here. To pick our questions for Benedictine, we have envelopes 1, 2, 3, or 4. We go to the captain from Hawken. Brian, it's your choice. 1, 2, 3, or 4?
3.
3. Okay, so let's keep in mind, Benedictine, these questions just for you. All set? Here we go. In 1980, engineers built the Gossamer Penguin, an airplane designed to run on what sort of power, whose source is 93 million miles from Earth?
Solar.
Solar is correct. Beginning in 1519, it took 1,093 days for the expedition crew of what Portuguese explorer to complete the first circumnavigation of the world? Answer?
Christopher Columbus.
Magellan. Magellan's the answer. Peach Orchard sounds like a peaceful place, but it was the site of fierce fighting in what 1863 Pennsylvania battle that was the turning point of the Civil War?
Gettysburg.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these is a chemical substance synthesized in one organ of the body that stimulates activity in the cells of other tissues and organs?
Hormone.
Hormone is correct. Because it had no written form and was almost unknown to outsiders, what Native American language was used to send coded messages during World War II?
Navajo.
That is correct. In 1961, the Pulitzer Prize for Literature was given to what author of To Kill a Mockingbird?
Lee.
Harper Lee is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer.
16.
16 is correct. After sailing all over the world on his ship, the Golden Hind, what English sea dog died on an expedition to the West Indies in 1596? Answer is Sir Francis Drake. Nice round, Benedictine. Okie doke. We move on to our second team today. Comes from Hawken. Brian, you're the captain. What do we need to know about Brian?
I'm currently a junior at Hawken School, and I participate in robotics, academic challenge, and also the school newspaper. And I would like to extend a thank you to our advisor, Ms. Cole Shirk, and our alternate Tolga for coming here today.
Awesome.
And also helping us throughout.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Hello, Andy. Welcome.
Hello, I'm a junior at Hawken. I do a lot of things, but most of them have to do with science, math, or other languages. I also play on the football team, that's the soccer team, and I also play volleyball outside of school.
Fantastic.
Yep, that's it.
Busy, busy, busy. How about you, Matthew?
I'm a sophomore at Hawken School. I run cross country and track for the school, and I also participate in academic challenge. And I'd also like to thank our coach, Ms. Coyle Shirk, and our alternate Tolga.
Fantastic. All right, Hawken, welcome. For your questions, we go to Revere's captain, Tate. Tate, we have envelope 1, 2, or 4?
2.
2. Okay, one more time, Hawken, these questions just for you. All set? Here we go. In 1821, the same year Napoleon died, a French linguist deciphered the hieroglyphs on what stone that Napoleon's troops had found in Egypt?
Rosetta Stone.
That is correct. To scare away aggressive seagulls, a New Jersey beach town once brought in 4 hawks, 2 falcons, and what wise bird?
Owl.
That is correct. In a victory for historic preservation, 19th century activists blocked an attempt to build a railroad through what prehistoric circle of huge rocky slabs on England's Salisbury Plain?
Stonehenge.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Pink flowers are hybrids. Given that you have a group of cross-pollinating pink flowers, which of these should be true of the next generation offspring of those flowers?
%25 white.
That is correct. Many of our clearest pictures of the moon were made at an observatory 9,000 feet up in what mountains that separate France from Spain? Answer?
The French Alps.
The Pyrenees, the Pyrenees. A fictional police state called Oceania is the setting for what George Orwell novel, which has a specific year as its title?
1984.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
Three.
3 is correct. In 1853, President Fillmore sent out what American naval commodore to open trade with Japan?
Matthew Perry.
That is correct. Way to go, Hawken. Good run. All righty. Our third team this morning comes to us from Revere. Tate, you're the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a senior. I like listening to and playing serious music. I'm a swimmer, and I intend to major in philosophy, classics, and/or Catholic theology.
There you go. Thank you, Tate. All right, Neil, you're up.
I'm a junior from Revere. I'm the treasurer for Mu Alpha Theta Club, and I am the advocacy chair for SDA. And I want to thank Andy and Maggie.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. Hello, Philip. Good morning.
Hi, I'm a senior. I'm Revere's president of our recycling club and speech and debate team, and I'm also a runner for cross country and track.
That's just awesome. Everybody's so busy. Should all be so proud. Okay, for your questions, Revere, we come back to Benedictine's captain, Charlie. Envelope 1 or 4?
4.
4. Okay, Revere, just for you. Set. Here we go. After waging a fruitless campaign for office, a poor loser might nibble on what symbolic type of grape associated with resentment in an Aesop fable?
Sour grapes.
That is correct. If you were to visit the cities of Johannesburg and Pretoria, you'd be in what country that was home to Nelson Mandela?
South Africa.
That is correct. In the ancient Parthenon, there was an imposing statue of what Greek goddess of wisdom, whose Roman counterpart was Minerva?
Athena.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. The middle layer of an animal embryo is known by which of these terms?
Mesoderm.
That is correct. In 1781, the British Army band played The World Turned Upside Down after England lost what final battle of the American Revolutionary War?
Yorktown.
That is correct. Viva Zapata, an original screenplay about Mexican revolutionary hero Emiliano Zapata, was the work of what author of The Grapes of Wrath?
John Steinbeck.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the area of triangle ABC?
90.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. Oakenwald, a 53-acre estate overlooking Lake Michigan, was the last home of what 19th century Illinois senator nicknamed the Little Giant?
Douglas.
Stephen A. Douglas is correct for the bonus points. Way to go, way to go. That is one heck of a round. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this.
5.
Welcome back. Today's judge from Cuyahoga Community College, Andy Sokolich. Andy, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being with us. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. All right, everybody, it's time to get back to head-to-head competition. This is the picture-perfect round. Each correct answer here is worth 20 points. For a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. This is for all three teams, so hands on the buzzers, eyes on the big monitor here. All set? Here we go. This is a painting by artist John Constable, who was born in what year that marked the signing of the Declaration of Revere?
1776.
That is correct. This painting shows the death of British General Pakenham in what last battle of the War of 1812 fought after the peace treaty had been signed? Revere.
New Orleans.
That is correct. A hippopotamus can weigh up to 7,000 pounds, with 1/4 of that weight made up of what organ known as the epidermis? Revere.
Skin.
That is correct. Taking positive roots, simplify this expression, giving your answer. Revere.
1.
That is correct. This 1827 cartoon takes a rather lighthearted view of the collapse of a tunnel then being constructed under what London river? Revere.
Thames.
That is correct. Which of these gases is easiest to liquefy? Revere.
Ammonia.
That is correct. This cheerful mask was made by an indigenous tribesman in what state where Mount Denali is located? Benedictine.
Alaska.
That is correct. This issue of Cleveland Magazine ranks our region's best places to live, and one of the data points that factor into those rankings is population size, which is tracked every 10 years by Revere.
Census.
That is correct, and that's a heck of a round. Woo! Woo! Don't go anywhere. We've got our exciting grab bag round to come. That determines today's winner. But that's coming up after Mix It Up. We're back after this. Welcome back. Let's say hello to today's school advisors. Elizabeth Salem here from Benedictine. Hawken's advisors, Lauren Coyle-Shirk, Jeff Fry, and Nick Koss join us from Revere. Thank you all so much for being with us this morning. All right, time now for our Mix It Up round. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly receives 25 bonus points. First up, Benedictine. All set? Here we go. You won't need an usher if you can find in this phrase the name of what planet 7th from the sun. Answer?
Uranus.
That is correct. If you didn't believe one word of what someone was telling you, your attitude could best be described by which of these adjectives?
Inert.
Incredulous.
Okay.
This neat phrase is an anagram for what San Francisco bridge that opened in 1937?
Golden Gate.
That is correct. Not exactly. Eliminate what one word from this Jan Martel title to make it correct?
Life of Pi.
Squared. You would get rid of squared to make it life of pi.
Oh.
Get rid of squared. Which of these 3 European rivers was the site of 2 major World War I battles?
Marne.
That is correct. In this line of poetry by Shelley, I is not a person, but rather what natural phenomenon whose forms include cirrus and cumulus?
Clouds.
That is correct. Way to go, Benedictine. Okay. Hawken, you're up next. Let's go. If you study this phrase, you can find the name of what large hepatic organ of the body?
Liver.
That's correct. A person who is affable can best be described by which of these adjectives?
Friendly.
That is correct. If you rearrange the letters in this sentence, you can identify what articles under which the United States was governed before the Constitution was adopted. Answer? The Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation is the answer. Okay, what one word can you eliminate here to correct this E.B. White title?
Address.
Address is correct. Of these 3 congressional acts, which one was passed in the 1930s and gave workers the right to unionize and bargain collectively?
Wagner.
That is correct. This comment by a French dramatist was his description of what affectionate gesture that also describes a small foil-wrapped chocolate candy made by Hershey.
Kiss.
That is correct. Way to go, Hawken. All righty. And finally, it's the team from Revere. These questions just for you. All set? Here we go. Whatever city you choose, see if you can find the hidden name of what major artery of the body?
Aorta.
That is correct. If you were preparing to allocate your money, you would be getting ready to do which of these?
A portion.
That is correct. We don't want to discourage wit, but you can rearrange the letters in this phrase to identify what U.S. military academy in New York?
West Point.
That is correct. I'd like it if you would fix this Shakespeare title by eliminating one word.
Hamburger.
That is correct. At which of these 3 Civil War battles did General Ulysses S. Grant lead the Union Army to an important military triumph?
Vicksburg.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. The Earl of Chesterfield used this phrase to describe what upper house of the British Parliament to which he belonged.
House of Lords.
House of Lords is correct for the bonus points. All righty. Speeding right along, but we're not done. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Here's the recap of the scores so far. 340 points for Benedictine, 360 for Hawken, 670 for Revere. Time now, though, for the grab bag round. In this free-for-all, each correct answer is worth 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all 3 teams. Anything can happen here. Hands on the buzzer. Eyes on the monitor when you need it. All set? Here we go. In an effort to increase readership of its annual defense report, a comic book version was once issued in what country where manga comics originated? Hawken.
Japan.
That is correct. The planet Saturn has at least 35 moons, including what largest moon, the only one, Revere?
Titan.
That is correct. In a symphony orchestra, what is the only standard percussion instrument whose name?
Timpani.
Hawken. Excuse me?
Timpani.
Whose name begins with the letter X? Xylophone. The Byzantine fleet won a lot of naval battles using Greek fire, a mixture that included what element once called brimstone? Revere.
Sulfur.
That is correct. The 2016 Olympic Games included the first gold medal ever won by athletes from what Pacific nation where Suva is capital? Answer is Fiji. How many quarts of water are needed to fill a 4-gallon container, Revere?
16.
That is correct. After fighting in the Black Hawk War, Abraham Lincoln emerged with what Army rank, today signified by 2 silver bars? That's it. That's our final buzzer. Hold on right there. Let's go to the scoreboard. In third place this morning with 340 points is the team from Benedictine. In second place this morning with 360 points is the team from Hawken. And the winner of today's academic challenge with a hefty 760 points, it's Revere. Be sure to join us next time. We'll feature teams from North Ridgeville, Olmsted Falls, and University School. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Rob Powers. We'll see you right back here next week.